Crafty people, it's Tracy Reed here today, coming at you with a bit of a different video. Whenever I do my traveler's notebooks, I always have a ton of requests for how I put them together. So I'm going to create a video today about how I put my traveler's notebooks together. These are the Cocoa Daisy Noted Collection traveler's notebooks. This is the planner traveler's notebook. This is the memory keeping traveler's notebook, and I'm going to take these apart and put them back together again as one album because I really like to mix them together. I like to have room for journaling and room for play, and I tend to not use them for planning but rather memory keeping. So the planner one, in order to get it used, I mash it together with the other one. And of course I cannot find my staple remover, so there's that. But let's see if we can figure out a different way to take the staples out. There's always another way. So what you do is you come in here and with a staple remover, not an X-Acto knife. Don't be like me, folks. Do not try this at home. Do not stick staples underneath your fingernails. You come in here and you loosen up the staples and you take them out. There we go. I'm going to fast forward through this part so you don't have to clutch your pearls in fear. I'm living life on the wild side here, Mom. Look away. Okay, phew, I survived. No one got stabbed. No fingernails got ripped off in the process. So again, this one is the memory keeping. This one is the planner. And these are the papers. These are the planner papers that came with the collection. And these are traveler's notebook papers that came with the collection. And you don't have to, especially when it comes to Cocoa Daisy, you can make inserts to put in your traveler's notebook with these papers. Or since Cocoa Daisy has a ton of patterns in their collection or in their traveler's notebooks already, you don't have to. I pull them aside just in case. Who knows? We're playing on the wild side. I know one thing is I don't love the plain craft covers, so I normally take them off. But what I've noticed is that my traveler's notebooks without covers are not holding up very well. I thought that they would be a little bit better off than they are, so I'm probably going to end up recovering one of these instead of tossing it. Now you have two options. You can either cut these up right down the center and put them on rings, or you can leave them like this. Now if you cut them up, the advantage is that you can make it a lot bulkier. Let me show you. Here is, oh my goodness. Here is an old traveler's notebook that I made a few years ago with Gossamer Blue supplies actually. And it is still bound in the staples, and you can see that it is so thick and totally coming apart. I had to tape pages back in, and the way that I scrapbook is bulky, and so this doesn't really work for me. So I always take my traveler's notebooks out of the book and put it on rings, and you can see. Let me close this to the beginning. Here we go. This is my November Gratitude Traveler's Notebook with the Cocoa Daisy Memphis Season Collection. Still just as thick, but ring bound, so that it opens and it can, the pages go real nice. You don't have to worry about it. But you can see what I mean about the covers not holding up as well. I had to put rings on here and actually put some tape on here because the cover was ripping. So that's where these covers are going to come back in handy. Try and keep it from happening with the next one. So I'm going to cut all of these down the middle because I like rings. If you want to keep it stapled, don't do this part. This also makes it easy for you to rearrange the pages and not have to worry too much about how things from one book are going to work with the next book. So like if you leave it like this and you want to wrap it around this book, like you have to make sure, well, that looks nice, but you have to make sure that this page is going to match this page now. And sometimes that is just a little bit too much thinking for me. So I have a guillotine sort of chopper going on here, and you can be super lazy like me and cut more than one at a time. It will mess up your book. Don't do it. So these are just a little over 4 1/4. They're like 4 3/8, but those are the outside pages. As you get to the inside pages, they get a little bit smaller to compensate for the edge of the book. So I just like to align the fold and not worry too much about measuring. A lot of times it makes it easy because there is one pattern like this on one side and another on another side, so it's easy to line it up right along the edge. It doesn't have to be an exact science though, especially if you're putting it on rings, because there's a lot of room for give. So I put the left-hand side on this side, the right-hand side on this side, because that keeps them in order. When I get to the middle, I can just put the two sides together and they will still be in order. So I just do this for all of the pages. And I will fast forward through this part so that you don't have to watch this very long process. But this is basically it. Do this for this book and the next book. And then I will come back. Okie dokie. So I've got both of them cut up now. And now I can start playing with how I want the pages to go together. Now keep in mind, combining both of these completely together is going to be too big. You can't put all of the pages in this book because it's too much for memory keeping. Generally I use these for a month anyway, for a month of documentation, so it would be too many pages and I'd have a lot left over anyway. So I do omit a few and I'll use them in other forms of memory keeping, or sometimes I just use them for scratch paper. Like I'll keep them on my desk and use them to take notes and stuff. It's beautiful. I don't want to waste it. So I definitely like this as the cover, but it's going to go on the actual cover. So I have to keep that in mind. I'm not gonna be able to use this one, which is fine because I generally don't actually like things that refer to the new year. So I'm going to take the composition book papers off and put them aside to begin with. So this is what I want to be the front of my album. I like this calendar. So these two pages go together, but not in a way that they can't be separated. So, ooh, I like that purple with it. That's pretty, so that'll work. What's on the other side of this one? So we got pink on the other side, purple. I generally pull out the stripy pages and put them aside and use them as filler, and make sure I keep the pretty ones, or the pretty full page non-lined ones, together too. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm actually going to glue these two together. Well, actually, maybe not. Maybe I'll just put something, oops, okay, I'll put something in between them because I really want to keep these together, but I actually like this. Okay, I like this, and I like, well, see, I like these, but I don't think that they are something that I necessarily am gonna use. So I think I might glue these together. So you know what I do is I pull in a bunch of little paper clips and I clip together the pages that I know I'm gonna glue back to back, because that keeps it from getting confusing for me. down the line. So I know I'm gonna glue these together, so I'm just gonna put a little paper clip here. I still need something to go in between these two, so let's look through this book, not the yellow. No. Maybe. A lot of white pages in this one. And look, I have another one of these, which is cool. Not pink. Not more purple, because there's purple before that. Separate out the cameras a bit. I don't want another blank page, because I could just leave that one there. What about this? No. Ooh, I like that. There we go. Okay, that works. So now we've got that page sorted, that page. I think I'm gonna keep these two together. Don't be a lady, be a legend. I don't wanna break that one up. Oh, I really love this. The question is, do I need all of my to-do lists together? Yeah, let's leave them together. So I'm gonna have to cover that up for sure. Actually, I don't necessarily have to cover that up. It's pretty cool, and I could just make sure I cover something in the middle. Okay, so that's a good start. So what I have left over here is, ooh, ledger paper, need that. Oh, okay, that's the problem. So I really like this ledger paper, and I want to make sure it gets used. So I guess I'm going to have to glue this to something else. Haha, I did it. Okay, I think that's about all I'm gonna put in this album. I'll use the rest for other memory keeping. Those blank pages always come in handy for cutting into journaling blocks and journaling strips. So now I have my album all put together, so let's make sure that we like it. All right, I like that. So next step, first thing I gotta do is glue those pages back to back, the ones that are getting glued back to back. So let me do that real quick. Just come in here with my tape runner, make sure I go right along the edges. I like to leave the top open just in case I want to use it as some sort of a pocket. But if not, I can always go down the line and trim it, or I mean glue it together. Now I'm mixing and matching papers from different places in different books, so the edges aren't going to line up perfectly. So I just trim the overhang while I'm gluing. No big deal. And now you can see I have a pocket in the top here. So I could come in here in advance. I might just do it to remind myself that there's a pocket here. Take my circle cutter and create a little tab, a little hole right in the top. So now I know that there is a pocket. Oh my goodness, you guys. Yay. Okay, so now let's keep going. Okay, so now that everything is back to back that needs to be back to back, okay, I am ready to punch my holes. I just realized that I need something next to this. This will work for the back of the cover. Okay, so now I'm ready to punch my holes. And it's super easy, a little bit time consuming, but not hard. Grab a few at a time, enough that your hole punch will actually go through it. Use a template. You can actually use, I think, a 6-hole punch, or a 6x8 album punch if you have one, but I don't, and I'm lazy. So what is going on here? What did I just do? Okay, this is what I wanted. So I actually have these holes punched from a traveler's notebook I made for Christmas. Now the key is that you don't want to go too far in, because you'll interfere with design, but you also don't want to go too far to the edge, because then the holes become really weak. So I'm going to put mine slightly inset, more inset than on that template. So you can see I have some overlay or overhang here. I initially used a 6x8 album page protector for these holes. So you can use one of those. Okay. Set one. You are going to go through some of the design. Not a big deal for me. If it's a big deal for you, you might not want to do holes. Actually, instead of using this one, I'm going to use one that I've already cut in here so that the paper size is right. And then I always make sure that I clip them together with a binder clip so nothing moves while I'm punching. Okay. Phew. Now to finish this off, we need rings and a cover. I'm going to use the memory keeping cover because the planner cover has this start here, which makes it textured. I need to cut this down the middle, but first I'm going to adhere the composition book. You can see I did not use the pattern papers. I can always adhere them or insert them into my album later if I want to, if I need more paper, or if there's just something that I want to do with it. Let's put this where it goes. I could use pattern paper for this inside cover as well, but I feel like at this point I haven't used it and I don't want to waste it for the inside covers, although that would be pretty cool because it would look like a book cover. Let's look at it real quick just in case. I don't want that. What about this? Oh, this would really evoke a book cover. Vintagey feeling. Matches that side. No, I'm not going to. I think it would be pretty, but I'm hesitant to waste the paper because I like to use it in memory keeping, like my layouts. And I just know whatever paper I use is going to be the one that I want to memory keep with later. Even though I do have duplicates, it is going to happen. So now I need an inside cover. I don't think I have any like cool quotes left. Or blank pages. I think I'm gonna leave it blank for now and maybe come in later with a like a journal card. Maybe I'll look at the journal cards. Okay, so all the holes are punched. We are ready to assemble now. Oh, it's looking pretty. So the rings that I have are from Office Depot, and of course I've lost the lid, but I believe these are 2-inch rings. Actually, I know these are 2-inch rings, but I start with the 1-inch rings, and if I need the 2-inch rings, I'll use the 2-inch rings. These are just from Office Depot. They come in a little tub like this. You get a crap ton for like 10 bucks. I think it was less than 10 bucks. And they just open up. You can slide them right through the hole. Once you got the first one in, it's easy peasy from there. So now the cool thing about this is later on down the line, I can take out any pages I want. I can add any pages I want. And I still have that really beautiful traveler's notebook effect, traveler's notebook size, without all the hassle of having it staple bound. Plus, I got to basically create my own from both books, and it's really beautiful, and I love it. So the last thing I need to do is figure out this inside cover. Ooh, that's pretty. These are from the memory keeping kit. Memory keeping pockets. All right, none of these are vertical, but I really love this. I don't think I want it. You know what? Tilting things always bothers me. And so that would bother me, even though I love that card. Let's see if there's any in here. Ooh, this is perfect. I'm thinking of using this as a, like a work journal sort of a thing. So that's kind of perfect. I also have this. I have a few of these tags so I can, I don't want to cover up the camera though. All right, I think my last resort is going to be using the papers. Dun, dun, dun. So I think I'm gonna use this black, yeah, because this is perfect together. So of course I gotta take it back apart. So I just decided to put that card in there because I really love it and it matches really well. Just gonna put some washi tape down because it's pretty. And it's ready to go, I think. So I hope this helped, and you can see how to mash together your own traveler's notebooks, and not only the Cocoa Daisy ones, but you can make a traveler's notebook from scratch with any paper, whether it's regular like notebook paper, or not notebook, but like printer paper, although you might want to go a little bit thicker than that. You know what? I don't like this bottom one. Nope. You can use a little bit heavier weight printer paper and some leftover pattern paper that you have. You can make your own traveler's notebook from anything I really love, I've made them in the past before from paper, like different sized papers, and I really love that. And I'm thinking about trimming some of these down for this album and playing with that size difference. Look at this pocket. I don't know what I'm gonna put here, but I love it. So yeah, this is my Cocoa Daisy Noted Traveler's Notebook. Not sure, I think I'm gonna use it as a business journal this year. Like an encouragement, motivation, sales tracker sort of a thing. Big dreams, all of that kind of stuff. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. And if you have any ideas for things like this, these how-to sort of videos that you would like to see in the future, leave me a comment in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. And if you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Traci M. Reed, and I will see you next time. Thank you.